It's time for Shawn Shepheard to catch up with that crazy bugger, Sebastien Sasseville, on his cross-Canada journey to outrun diabetes. Find out where Sebastien is now and hear all about his crazy adventures, all right here on the Diabetes Champions Network.
All right, and we are live with Sebastien Sasseville, and I hear that you're in Freddie Beach, New Brunswick. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm in Moncton, New Brunswick. So we actually made it to. I ran across the border from Nova Scotia to New Brunswick this morning. So another cool milestone.
Wow. And I know that not only are you doing the runs during the day, but you're speaking at a lot of events and going out to schools and doing interviews and a whole bunch of other crazy stuff. So since the last time we talked, probably about 2 weeks ago, lots has happened. Can you give us a little update of your trials and tribulations of Sebastien?
It's been 2 very, very busy weeks. So right after we spoke last time, I ran for a few days and then had to fly to Calgary for a speaking engagement. Then got back here, ran for a little bit. Then we had to be off again for a weekend of events in Halifax. So just a ton going on, a lot of very exciting stuff, and basically fulfilling the mission of the project, which is putting the focus on the cause and on people and on the impact that I'd like the project to have, instead of having the focus on the runner. So we've been at a JDRF event in Halifax at the walk kickoff, so it was awesome to be part of that. We had a great 5K community run, so it was open to general public. It was just a bunch of people running together, but again, it's about what it means, and it was just so awesome to see people come out. And then we stopped at a school, which was truly, probably one of the most magical moments of the journey so far. So we didn't really know what was going to happen, and so we just pulled in the school parking lot, and literally the whole school was there. 300-400 kids. They had signs and banners. Everybody started to cheer, and it brought tears to my eyes. So we stopped there. I said a few words, and it came at a good time because I was pretty exhausted. I'm getting pretty sore, and all that. So it just gave me a ton of energy for the rest of the day. So a lot of very cool stuff happening, and the message I feel is getting out there, so it's positive.
Well, and like you said, it came at the right time for you, and I think sometimes when we do these interviews and we focus on all the fantastic things that are happening with the run, and but I also know that there's challenges just living day to day with diabetes, and so the first question I have for you is, can you tell me about some of the big hard days and some of the hard challenges that you faced since you started this journey? And I know, Sebastien, I want to thank you because you're going to answer this question, I think, in both of our official languages. But I think it's really important for us to hear too some of the hard days that you go through.
Yeah, so I've had some pretty hard days. So from a physical point of view, I'm trying to keep a smile every day, but everything hurts, and it's interesting. It's always a surprise. Sometimes I'm feeling good in the morning, and then I start running, and it's just a disaster. And some other times I feel not so good. I start running, and I'm just gliding out there. So to deal with the pain, the frustration sometimes of not being able to run as fast as I'd like, is difficult. So mentally, things are getting a little harder. I did a lot of highway running at the beginning of the journey, and now we're using smaller service roads, and it gets pretty lonely out there. So today and all week I did a lot of very lonely running. So that's tough, and obviously the diabetes. I have highs and I have lows like everybody. I've had good diabetes days, bad diabetes days, but when a bad day happens, it's frustrating. And but I think it's important to try to learn from it, and do the right things, right? Do the basics right. Test my blood sugar if I'm too high or too low. Have the patience and humility, and just pull the plug and stop for a little bit. And it may not be a fun thing to do, but it's just what you have to do to stay in shape and survive the day. So a lot of small stuff like that. That's challenging. So they're not all fun days. That's for sure.
And then en français.
En français. So les défis avec la traversée du Canada, évidemment, d'un point de vue de la condition physique. J'essaie de garder le sourire la majorité du temps, mais c'est certain que tout commence à faire un petit peu mal. Donc, de dealer avec ça, de pas courir aussi vite que j'aimerais pouvoir courir, psychologiquement, c'est un défi. Au début du voyage, j'ai fait beaucoup de courses sur l'autoroute, ou ce qui ressemblait à une autoroute à tout le moins. Et il y avait du sport, les gens voyaient la main, puis tout ça. Et puis, dans les derniers jours, j'ai fait beaucoup de courses sur des plus petites routes. Donc, c'était assez court en solitaire. Évidemment, Patrick est là avec le véhicule, donc je suis pas complètement seul, mais je suis quand même laissé moi-même dans ma tête pendant que je cours pendant des longues heures. Donc, ça, c'est un nouveau défi avec la fatigue musculaire et psychologique qui s'accumule tranquillement. Puis, au point de vue du diabète, aussi, c'est pas toujours facile. Donc, comme tout le monde, j'ai des hyperglycémies, j'ai des hypos comme tout le monde. J'essaie d'en avoir le moins possible. Mais c'est un défi. Donc, parfois, il y a des journées où tout se passe bien et il y a des journées où tout se passe un petit peu moins bien. Donc, ça devient frustrant des fois, mais il faut avoir la patience et l'humilité, je pense, d'arrêter de faire les choses de base, tester son sang, réfléchir, prendre les actions qu'il faut pour corriger une glycémie qui est pas adéquate. Puis à la fin de la journée, pas tous les jours qui sont faciles, mais on passe à travers. Puis j'essaie de terminer même si la journée se passe pas bien, j'essaie de terminer avec le sourire. Donc ça aide un petit peu. Voilà.
Right. Thank you in both languages. Well, I have two more questions from you that we got asked through our Facebook page. And the first one is from insulinpumps.ca, and I'll just read it here. They wanted to know, describe how your morning looks like before heading out on your runs, diabetes-wise.
Good. So, good question. So, I get up and I do breakfast. So, diabetes-wise, everything starts there because I have to make a first decision in terms of insulin intake. That decision is going to be impacted by where the starting point is. So, are we going to drive for 10 minutes to get to the starting point, or are we going to drive for an hour and a half? So that's going to impact what I decide to do with my basal rate, with my breakfast injection of insulin. So got a bit of thinking to do right at that point, and then making sure that I'm doing the right thing again with my basal rate. So I don't want to talk specific numbers because honestly, I think that would be very useless because that's information that's only applicable to me on one day. So, but start working with the basal rates, and then the first thing that I do when I wake up in the morning is test my blood sugar. That's part of my life now. I open my eyes and I test my blood sugar. So depending on the reading that I get, I might have something to adjust from the moment that I wake up. So dealing with that. And then doing another check before I start running, looking at my CGM, see if I'm trending up or down, trying to predict how the first hour is going to go is very important. And then I tend to be more stable for the last few hours of the morning run.
And you mentioned your CGM. So when you're running, are you looking down at the screen and checking that out? And tell us a little bit when you're out on the road.
Yeah, so I try not to look at it too much. That's always the temptation with CGM. Winter has made sure that I couldn't look at it too much because it's been tucked in, underneath multiple layer of clothing. So sometimes I found it frustrating because anytime that I wanted to reach out to my pump, I had to stop, get back in the car, or unzip out there and get cold. But I like to look at it every, I don't know, like 30 minutes. I don't want to look at it too much because then you can overreact to it. And you have to start your run or physical activity, let's say, with a plan that you trust, that you think is going to work. And to change that plan, you have to have flexibility. So you have to be able to adapt. But to go in too often and simply change the plan and overreact to data that you're getting from a CGM or even a blood glucose monitor, not always ideal.
Okay, so I have one more question, and then we'll let you get some rest. And this is from our friend Jessie here in Markham, Ontario. And her question was, how did it feel being a recipient of Man Crush Monday on Monday?
Yeah, it felt amazing that it was my first time with that award. No, honestly, those things, well, first, thank you, Jesse, and to you, Shawn, for all that you do to support the run, but I know you do that for dozens of people in the communities. Just that sincere and genuine kindness is amazing.
Well, you're
those things, they make your day. They put a smile on your face. You know that you're not alone. You know that people are cheering. It meaning what you do means something to at least one person out there. So it's good. It's very touching.
Well, and it was the first time I ever had a man crush on anybody. So there you go.
Great.
Yeah, and a big thanks to Jessie Living. And if you haven't seen the video, and she made T-shirts for a couple of us, and just had a good old time with it. So she posted that on Facebook the other day. Well, Seb, continued good luck. I know that we're thinking of you and a whole bunch of people across the country. And I know that now you're done with 2 provinces, and you're well into this. This is real. This is happening, and we just want to say good luck, and keep that smile on your face, and we'll keep checking in on you.
Awesome. Yeah, let's do that again next week.
All right. Thanks again, Seb. Have a good night.
Cheers.